don't know how and what to do. I'm so shy when it comes to you, but I guess you're curious, huh? So let me show you what I can do, 'cause I don't mind taking my time.
It has got to be Friday night. We are back in the Tab Performance Studios, and this is Indian Rider Radio After Hours. I'm Curtis Sawyer, alongside my partner, Ridingfish, and we are so glad to have you here with us. Indian Rider Radio After Hours, this is kind of our live stream, get it all together, see what we're all up to kind of thing, and it's always more fun than humans ought to be allowed to have, and generally speaking, it's G-rated, so you can bring the kids along, too. Speaking of bringing the kids along, let's talk to my partner, Ridingfish. What's going on, my man?
Man, first of all, it's kind of cold.
A little bit.
You said you had that really warm weather of 3 degrees, I think, today.
Yeah, this morning it was just a shade over 4, topped out around 14.
Nobody likes to talk about weather, but that's real business today.
Yeah, well,
I'm
don't
excited.
pick on my friend Vin Crosby now. Come on, our meteorologist.
Hang on. So, Mr. Vin Crosby, you know him personally, right?
Yeah, I do. I've known him for a long time.
Does he forecast the weather, or does he actually just make the weather? Because one, he's so damn accurate that it's almost like he gets to cheat. So tell him I need 70s and sunny in Minnesota next week.
Okay, I've put in my order with him so many times, it's ridiculous, and I get 0 in return, I'm telling you. But no, he's absolutely right. Vin Crosby, he is a professional meteorologist. He worked with the Weather Channel for a long time. He and I met when I was doing television in Boise. Actually, I was still doing radio. And he brought me over to the Fox affiliate there, where I also did, television news and reporting and weather with him. And so when the time came to start the show, well, I couldn't resist. Had to have him. Because let's face it, everywhere we go, we worry about the weather. So we might as well know in advance. And Vin is one of the best. He's really an expert for really something else. And speaking of something else, our friends at Thurber Jewelers, let's get this out of the way. Valentine's Day, they're back with another commercial. They're easy to call, text, or get a hold of. Riders and good people, and they may have saved my life for Valentine's Day.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you're in the Minnesota area and you haven't covered Valentine's yet, you might want to go in there and check them out.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're not in the Minnesota area and you're going to be late, you're going to have a belated Valentine's, you better call or text him or go on their website, because his stuff is going to get you out the doghouse.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is the key to the doghouse right there.
Yeah.
Well, this is another one of these weeks where we have had a lot going on with the podcast episode, or season 2, episode 6 is out now. You can find that wherever you find your favorite podcast. On it, I talk with none other than Woody himself, Rod Woodruff, at the world famous Buffalo Chip. And those guys are excited and jacked up because, of course, Lord's Garage and India Motorcycle Charlotte are going to be there now. And they're going to create kind of an Indian destination as part of the entire Buffalo Chip experience. And they also announced today at the Buffalo Chip that ZZ Top will be on one of the main stages this year, alongside Kid Rock will also be there. And then they have a number of other announcements coming from the Sturgis Buffalo Chip regarding the bands, the acts, and other activities that they got going on. So when you check that out, obviously, Woody is a great interview. He's a lot of fun to talk to. And you can get details on what's happening at the Buffalo Chip just by going to thebuffalochip.com. So tell them we sent you.
It was a great show, great interview. I'll tell you, so I've been to Sturgis 4 times, never been to the Buffalo Chip. Now, I very much feel like I have never been to Sturgis.
You haven't really done it all yet.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to figure out, next year, for sure, 100% I'm going.
Yeah, we'll be over there. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun when we get out there and with the activities they have going on and the energy already at the Chip. And then to have Lloyd's there, a bunch of Indian riders, their bikes, and hanging out with all their custom stuff. Sounds like a good time to me, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good clean fun.
Hey man, we got a lot to talk about this week. Or today.
Another busy week. There's still some buzz rolling around out there about the FTR, and if anybody wants to bring that up and talk about it, we can. But really, the big event this week, obviously, the brand new Indian Chief.
Yeah.
And wow, there's been some fighting words online.
It's really weird. It's people who love it, or they are really extremely bothered by it.
Bothered by it? Did you really? You softened it up to bothered by it. No, these people are rowdy right now.
Yeah, it's weird. They're way over passionate.
Yeah.
I don't know. We all know that we talk about new school and old school and all that. And you remember one time I told you I could care so much less about 1901. They don't ever have to put on any of my motorcycles.
Sure.
It doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay.
Ooh, well, old school. Yeah, they need that 1901. And they need those fenders, and so anyway, I think we got a lot of people in here talking, and we have a good guest today.
Obviously he's a friend of the show. He drops by on a regular basis. Why? Because we like him, and because he's really super cool. And if we can hang around with a guy like Larry Marshall, well, then we just look that much better. That's all there is to it. It's just the way it is, you guys. Larry, welcome. Good to see you again. How you been?
Fantastic, guys. How about you?
Oh, like they say in the old country, I can't complain loud, long, or often. Give me a minute.
I like to say people wish they had the thing, they had my complaints. People wish they had my complaints.
Yeah, I got a lot of first world problems. You?
I got a lot of cold world problems right now, man. This is killing me. It's cold up there.
What is going on up there, you guys?
It is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
I talked to a guy yesterday that farms, and he's a firefighter up there in Rochester, Minnesota, and he was like, "This ain't right. There's just something horribly wrong here. What happened?" Even for Minnesota, where the rest of the country, we all expect you guys to be basically, nomads or Eskimos. We don't know because it's way to heckin' gone up there. But we've had horribly cold temperatures, and seriously, by all seriousness, there's some dangerous weather conditions around the country through the next few days. So, exercise some caution on that. I see we have the comments filling up, and we also have the online studio filling up. And Larry, this is one of those moments, and you were there when we did the reveal on Tuesday morning, where at first blush, when most people saw the bike for the first time, the new Indian Chief for 2022, they didn't know quite what they were looking at. I think there was a lot of people a little dumbstruck, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. I was actually texting Fish during the reveal, and I'm like, of our 15 guesses that we made, I think we were pretty close on one of them. Because we said something like a Dyna or a Vegas.
Yep.
But yeah, it seemed like people were really, really excited about this bike. And then the more I read online, which is like the worst place to read things, people are starting to, it seems like people are starting to turn. I don't know if India doesn't understand. I'm sorry, if people don't understand what India's doing with the bike or what, but man, I was a little surprised by some of the negative feedback I saw.
Well, if you listen, I had the chance today to talk to Brandon Kramer, okay, the Indian design guy, and I'm not going to spill all the beans because it is really a great interview. And I want you to go to the podcast and listen to the interview. But what I can tell you is that what he was looking at, and what Indian as a whole has been looking at, is trying to fill that gap with something that made sense for our audience, for the guys who ride what we ride. And really, they lumped that into American V twin riders. And so they went for styling cues that were historic and nostalgic and reminiscent of early Indian, but they did it in styles, shapes, and maybe forms that we've seen someplace else, but that's what the motorcycle public tells them they want. And then you turn around, this is what you want, but you hear all the other guys clamoring online. I don't understand. Fish, what's your 2 cents? What do you got? You got a nickel's worth, or you just got 2 cents?
Dude, first of all, I always think out the box.
You think?
Oh my God.
I didn't know you were aware of the box.
Oh, that's true. So, I actually like what they did. You know, obviously none of us have sat on it. We're all taking the mid-size cruiser view of the bike. I like it. I really like that touchscreen.
Oh, the 4-inch touchscreen ride command system.
Ride command. Yeah. What else would we call that? I don't know.
There is no other name for it, man.
Yeah. What
it is.
Dude, so I froze today. Okay, so maybe we should restart the show. But yeah, I actually like it. I like it a lot. I don't have any complaints. I'm sitting here and I'm going through our messages and texts and stuff like that too, just so you guys know what everybody's doing. We're gonna do the same thing, everybody, as we did last week, right? We're good with that. Let's do a little bit of caller. So if somebody really wants to get on here and say opinion, you don't have to be on the whole time. Probably not even. Let me know. Reach out to me if you can through Instagram. Comment on here. Try to figure it out. Love to bring somebody on. You need audio and video. And let's hear what the people think. I'm trying to line up somebody right now.
You were talking to a young guy that you say has had a chance to be around the bike?
Yeah. So he can't make it, but he actually was there. He got to check it out, sit on it.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, he can't make it. But like, I'm trying for this guy.
Hey, what's up with that? Okay.
Yeah.
Lloyd
Here.
Yeah.
So Lloyd, I shot you a text message, man. Anyway, so we I don't know. Let's move on, and then I'll come back and tell you all my opinions. All
right, I'm going to back up and I'm going to talk to Larry here for a second.
Okay.
When Larry, when you saw the bike, and we had all thought about this for a while, did the Thunderstroke 111 idea surprise you?
No, actually didn't. Yeah. And it was kind of, if you go back to last week's video, you'll see me talking about how do you get that. I thought it was going to actually be a 116 right off the bat. I didn't even. So I guess yes, the 111 did surprise me. I thought it would be a 116 across the board versus the 111. But I understand why they did that with the price point and everything like that. You get a less expensive bike in, that people can ride. For me, my number one thing was when I saw that bike, I saw the same thing I saw in some of the Victory lineup. I saw a blank canvas that customizers could just drool over and do crazy things with it. So I see this bike is just it's going to be a work of art. You're going to see this bike morph into things from builders that are going to be insane.
Yeah, on the reveal date, even a gentleman asked me about, do they all have Bob fenders? I wouldn't worry too much about that because I think the aftermarket is going to come along cosmetically on this bike pretty quickly, just because it lends itself to it. You know, even in the way it's built. I mean, that fender sets over the top of an aluminum subframe, right? It's 4 bolts. It's off, basically. And how easy is that? Anybody can customize that way and hang a set of lights back on it, and you're good to go. And I think that that's one of the things that is important about this bike. And it's one of the things I wonder if people realize. The reaction I saw online was as if the bike was designed on Monday and released on Friday. You know, like this was just something that somebody came up with over a cup of coffee. This is years of development. This is Indian knowing that they had a gap to fill and finding the right way to fill it. That I think was important. I think that was a key part. Anybody else? Opinions? No, he's busy over there. Look at him. He's just chiming away. All right.
Dude, remember I was not lying. There was so much pump about the Chief that Larry, you and I were dead in on Curtis's live. Did a great job, by the way. One of the best jobs I've seen of anybody's review of the new. So congratulations to you. Hit that applause button for yourself.
Oh, for myself?
Yeah. There you go. And while that's happening, I'm literally messaging me and Larry are going back and forth, and we're commenting on the live. So it's a hot topic, and the fender is a big thing. But I keep saying, if you really wanted the more classic look, just go buy the vintage.
Sure.
Right? I mean,
but you're talking to a group of riders that if they've hung a lot of. It was the same argument we heard with the FTR. Okay. If you're going to change the bike this dramatically, it's not an FTR. People said that. They said the very same thing now about the Chief. If you're going to change it this dramatically, and get away from what we now thought and we knew was achieved,
Yeah.
we're going to be upset by it. And I get that. But every so often, you have to realize that they knew that gap was there. They've been thinking about it since, 15, 16, 17, where they had to decide what they were going to do. They wanted to grow the brand quickly. We don't have time for that right now. Let's get some models out. Let's see how people react, and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that makes
You know
sense.
what I mean? But take a look at these. I'm going to bring these photos up here in just a minute. I'm going to bring one up here in particular. That one right there. Oops. Look at that. Tell me that does not have a clean, crisp, kind of raw edge, but modern look that anybody could just, as Larry has said, multiple times, blank canvas. Go nuts, man.
Yeah. By the way, you said victory, Larry. I want to say this is going after the Dyna guys. I see that one and it makes me think Dyna. And I'm good with that, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I think so too, because the Dyna in the Harley Davidson lineup appealed for so long to the younger guys that were coming off of a variety of other bikes, whatever it may be. But that was a great in-the-door motorcycle that didn't put them on a Sportster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because some of us, our egos won't let us ride Sportsters. I have had plenty of fun with them, so don't let that throw you. But for some guys, that wasn't the next step for them, whatever they were coming off of. And they figured that the Dyna, being at the price point it was with the blank canvas approach it had, that it was that kind of motorcycle that they could hang on to for a while. And a lot did. And if you look around now, since the original Dyna frame is now gone, even online, these things are becoming scarcer all the time.
Yeah.
Guys are hanging on to them, or they're converting them to sport bikes, or or show bikes or whatever. Here again, though, when they changed the frame, they lost some of those guys. When Harley changed that frame, some of the guys that were just, hey, I just need a raw bone motorcycle, they're gone. They didn't look the same. They didn't feel the same. Well, that creates a vacuum, doesn't it? Doesn't that create an opportunity for this motorcycle right here?
Oops. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think so.
This bike is from the looks of it anyway. This bike is insane. And I say the looks because I've learned in my old age not to judge a book or not to judge a bike by pictures. You got to sit on it. You got to ride it. Because I bought 3 bikes that I said I'll never buy them based on the first reveal and looking at the pictures. And then I rode them. I'm like, well, I was dumb. I should have rode this first.
Sure.
I think the Challenger is a good example of that, actually. Speaking of my baby, 2 things. One is I actually thought it looked better in person than it did any pictures. Fairing just looks so monstrous. And then when you actually got there, you're like, wait a minute, this isn't that bad. Maybe not the best looking bike in the world, but then you ride it and you're like, okay, sold.
All right. Speaking of which, if you were to look at the basic Indian Chief, or even for that matter, the Bomber, would you envision the Limited? Would that be one of the things that you would see down the road? Oh, wow. That kind of deafening silence is going to make for a lot of conversation.
You got me thinking now.
So here's my problem. I look at this bike. Well, I try to picture who's this bike for? What's this bike for?
Okay. And
it appeals to me in the not limited. It appeals to me 100% in the bobber style 116, no backseat. But people call them bar hoppers. I call them road rippers, or whatever you want to call them, tire burners. Yeah. Dude, can you imagine the way I rode that Roadmaster with the 116? I could only imagine the way I could ride that bad boy.
You're going to hurt that poor thing. Screaming at you, being upset about it. But what
I'll give you guys sorry, go ahead, Coach.
I was going to bring up a point, and the only one is that, you take that kind of power like the Thunderstroke produces, you do put it in the lighter frame. And I do know now, after, speaking with the guys, it is a very rigid frame that took some time to design and look into and create so that the bike behaved the way we now have the expectation it should. Maybe we've been riding Indians, right? But one of the points that he made and pointed out is that on many other platforms, you couldn't do that. There would that wouldn't be an opportunity for you. You couldn't offer that kind of motorcycle. So here, not only does it have to have that raw bone kind of open street style, but it also has to be adequate and supportive enough to be a capable two-up rider. And so far so good. You know what I mean?
It definitely looks more capable than a Scout.
Now, don't pick on Scouts. Come on.
No. I like Scouts, but I'm just saying, I think this is a fair upgrade to a Scout.
Right.
You
now,
know?
let's do this. Let's just say the words, okay? And I'm going to break the ice here. We've all heard the guys online, and it looks like a damned Harley Davidson. You're right. It does in a lot of respects. Okay. A lot of those styling cues we've seen before. We've seen them in the Dyna. We've seen them in the Softail Slim, and we have seen them in the Heritage. Okay. But those three bikes are bikes that are kind of getting long in the tooth in the Harley Davidson line. They're not, and some don't exist in the way that riders would prefer them, let's say. So why not walk right into those markets and be a part of? Why not? Why not take that hole? If you're going to leave the gap, let's take it.
So when I saw this bike, on that point, when I saw this bike, we were watching the reveal.
Yeah.
I yelled to my wife, I'm like, hey, I just saw your next bike. Because she's kind of in that, the Scout's too small of a bike for, she's a pretty experienced rider. So the Scout's too small for her. She thinks my Chieftain is a barge. This is the bike for her, right? It's like it's a bike that she can ride. She can feel comfortable with. The price point is great. It'll look good when I ride it, you know.
There you go. See, every gift should have a purpose. It should always have a secondary plan. But you're absolutely right. The bike is really approachable for smaller and women riders.
Well, and I bring that up because not every woman wants to ride a Scout, right? I mean, my wife is, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying this, but she likes to go fast. Literally, if she's ridden one of my bikes, I've had to catch up to her to tell her to slow down. So this bike is the perfect, this is awesome. This is a great bike for her.
Yeah, I think so too.
Or for anybody who wants something sporty, they may not be, 250 pounds like me and pushing around a heavy cruiser.
So on the neck of that, we have a really good guest that can talk a little bit more about performance.
Okay.
And what they think they can do to this bike.
Outstanding.
Let's take a break and then bring them in.
We'll be right back. Don't go away, you guys. Introducing the 2022 Indian Chief. In 1921, Indian Motorcycle unveiled the iconic Indian Chief. It was one of the most historic and influential motorcycles of all time. And now, in celebration of 100 years, America's first motorcycle company is unleashing the all-new Indian Chief models for 2022. They combine iconic American V-twin style with a very modern performance and technology lean. Indian Motorcycle designed the new Chief with a simplistic and mechanical aesthetic. It pays homage to the glory days of American motorcycling. This bike is lean, aggressive, and it just begs to be ridden. The 2022 Chief is powered by the Thunderstroke 111 motor in a steel tubular frame, offering a new old-school look and a whole lot of feel. The 2022 Chief. And welcome back to Indian Rider Radio After Hours. I'm Curtis Sawyer in the Tab Performance Studios, and we are so thrilled to have you guys drop in and hang out with us. Ridingfish is fishing all over the internet to find people to join us. If you'd like to be part of the show, let him know, and then we'll, of course, see if we can get you hooked up. Meantime, check out Indian Rider Radio, Season 2, Episode 6. It's available now wherever you find your favorite podcast. We talk with the one, the only Rod Woodruff, Woody from the world-famous Buffalo Chip. So if you want to know what's going on at the Chip, there's only one man to talk to, and we did. And, it's going to be a big year in 2021 for those guys. So check them out, buffalochip.com. And coming up this weekend, tomorrow, as a matter of fact, we will have an exclusive interview with Brandon Kramer from Indian Motorcycle. He is the Senior Product Director of Development. And we take a really deep dive on these bikes, you guys, from the inside, with these guys talking about how this bike was developed, where it was going, what it was doing, and what it means to the brand going forward. So don't miss it. An exclusive episode landing tomorrow with Indian Rider Radio as we talk to Brandon Kramer with Indian Motorcycle, all about what we're talking about tonight, the new Indian Chief. Hi, Chief. Speaking of which, what are you doing over there?
I got stuff going. We're good. I'm now focused. I got my notes so I can get going.
I used a big green marker this week. Yeah.
I'm pumped about this guest that we got, Larry, and then we also got that other good guest that I'm pretty pumped about.
You want to bring him up right now? Just say hi.
Let's bring him up.
There he is, Lloyd Greer, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, that's a big applause.
Yeah, store-bought studio audience.
Hey man, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You sound great.
Okay. So I used to think that I had the best job in the world, but after watching you guys, I'm getting kind of jealous.
Yeah, but you have a real life. I live in my basement. My studio is downstairs in my house. So yeah, you guys all have real lives. I live down here.
Okay.
I don't know. I might be willing to trade you, man. You got a pretty good one. It's one of those things where you're like, oh yeah. I work at the ice cream store, so I get to eat ice cream all day until you get sick of ice cream.
I tell you, yeah. How can there be a bad day in the world when you do nothing but work on motorcycles? Right?
Hey, I've been pitching for motorcycle jobs for a long time.
You just live too far away.
You know what would happen is one day this truck driver over here would decide, hey, I'm going to go to work for 1-800 Haul Bikes, and then he'd fill the thing up and disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Man, were you as excited or disappointed, or what was your opinion, Lloyd, on that?
Okay. So my true opinion on it is that I really think that it was a good move on Indian's part to come out with that bike. Are you going to meet everybody's style on cue? No way. And today I don't care if it's a motorcycle or a car. There's style and cues that cross over between everything, because when you're trying to be modern along with everybody else, there's only so much you can do with it. And I think it's
modern's only that wide. Modern is that big, and it has to fit in there. But more importantly, the Indians taking a lot of heat for something that the motorcycling public has told them they wanted.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of really listening to what happens online.
Wow.
It's tough because I'll be, for instance, when I first saw the Victory Vision, I'm like, oh my God, that's the most hideous motorcycle I ever saw in my life.
Sure.
And then it's actually one of my favorites now.
So funny that you say that, because Curtis and I were just talking about that bike today.
You were. I've had a secret crush on the Victory Vision since it came out, and I just could not bring myself to ride it, but it is one of the most wonderful motorcycles you'll ever experience.
Right. So, sometimes it's not always about what catches your eye on the big screen. I mean, you got to swing a leg on it, go for a ride, and look at it in person and experience what the bike is about. And at that point, if you don't like it, absolutely throw your hands up and say it's not my cup of tea. But I think you need to give it the full shot first.
Yeah.
So and that's what I was saying. All these people are comparing, right? Oh, that looks like a Victory, or that looks like a Dyna, or whatever. I was telling Curtis, I said, when they made the one bike that didn't look like any other bike, the Victory Vision, everybody wanted to complain.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, are you guys going to complain because they went completely innovative and went out of the box completely? Or do you go, hey, there's these style of guys that made a bike that a lot of people enjoyed very much. It went away. Well, hey, let's bring that one back. To me, I thought it was a good choice.
Yeah, but Lloyd, you'll agree with this. You don't, with all of the time spent building Victory motorcycles, all the lessons learned in that whole endeavor, okay? All the research done against everything else out in the marketplace, especially on another American V-twin. You have to think that this is not something that, again, I say didn't come up together on a cocktail napkin. This was something that was long planned out in a response to the American motorcycle market.
I agree.
It's the right thing to do.
And I know quite a few people at Polaris, engineering, design guys. They are brilliant people, and they do their research before they build a product. I know that very well, and they're not going to build a product that the main customers aren't going to want. And I hope that they learned a lot from the Victory days, because that's just going to make them a better company moving forward.
Well, and you know too, when you're developing a product, whether it's a camera or whatever it is, you don't throw away out all the information and all the development before it. All of that becomes a contributor to what you know today. And when you have the kind of success that Victory had in certain pockets with certain bikes, why would you ignore that going forward? It makes zero sense to leave that on the table.
Yeah, I think that it's a much needed platform for the brand, and I think it's going to be something that fills the niche with a lot of customers. And women, I think it's going to be a great bike for women that are moving out of a Scout, or Scout's a little on the small side for them, for shorter statured guys, for a guy that just wants a weekend hot rod, because we're going to hot rod them.
Here you go, right here. Boom.
Yep. Yeah, but Larry tells us he was the only one that wasn't really surprised, because we've all really been led to believe that this was going to be another Power Plus foundation. I mean, they do such a great job of throwing the breadcrumbs out there and leading you down the path, don't they? I mean, it was everywhere. I've been on the hook. But I now understand that it was not so much a flip of the coin, but that this was the more well-received bike.
Well, it's the tested bike too, right? It's the one that they know the engine. That's
right. The last thing you want to do is roll out a new model. One that is gonna create some ire, right? Just gonna piss some people off, or at least upset a few, and then find out that there's something haywire with it, or it doesn't work right, or it doesn't look the way it was supposed to. That would be suicide for these guys.
Challenger ECUs ×2 problems.
Yeah. And about Power Plus, I don't think Power Plus would be a good fit on this bike. The radiator alone, I think, would just kill the looks of it.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And really, what do we really need that much power on a lighter bike? Because
yes, we do.
Stupid question. I shouldn't ask that.
Lloyd.
Did you just ask that, Lloyd?
Hey, Lloyd, so we know that 116, it's no different than the other 116s as far as anybody can tell. So your 24-hour big bore should drop right in it, right? We all know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, good Lord.
Now taking reservations for Lloyd's Garage in Sturgis, South Dakota.
Yeah, well, my question is, who's going to be the first one to buy a 126 Chief out of Indian Motorcycle Charlotte?
Oh. You got a lot of guys that are going to jump at that over there. You know that, right?
We probably do. I mean, we're doing really well with the B4s, so I expect that we'd probably do pretty good with the a 126 Chief.
That B4 concept, what a neat idea to incorporate all of that stuff that you guys have done. And then, the paint schemes, especially that you guys choose, are so edgy and so graphic, but they got such a cool look. The bikes just scream like you want to get on them and just take off.
That's Tim. Yep.
Yeah, Tim's Challenger, I got to see it when we were in Sturgis with that fat front wheel, and so it looked so good. Made me jealous.
I agree. Yep. So I remember that. You ignored me totally. Went right to Tim.
Yeah.
That's probably not exactly how that went, but
No,
That's not exactly how it looked, but it was close. It was
I
dangerous.
built an old man's bike, and he built a modern, younger man's bike.
There you go. Well, there's some of us that are older. So Lloyd, tell me now that this is the Thunderstroke 111, so not a whole lot of mystery there, but they've made some changes in tuning and some other things to accommodate load and size and weight and all that kind of thing. That's going to change the dynamic of the bike a little bit. And tell me about this header that's on this thing.
I think it's sexy as heck, isn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a really good looking stock exhaust system, other than the slip-ons, of course, but the head pipe itself, I think, is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So,
and obviously tuned to perform much like the original ones, because there isn't a lot of improvement on those either.
Right. I agree. Matter of fact, I haven't seen this one with the covers off of it, but from what I can gather, I'm going to say that thing is going to work very, very well.
Good. Yeah, I think so too. So now we got the lightweight, we've got the tubular frame, we've got the exposed rear suspension. That's one of those other sore spots. You know, everybody says, why are we backtracking? Why are we backtracking? Opinions, thoughts?
Larry, go ahead.
Money. That was a money thing. It's to keep the cost of the bike down. You can't do all that and still expect to make money and put out a new bike in 3 more years. A newer innovative bike in 3 years. I keep looking over this way because I'm looking at the bike on my other screen. I got to pull this down because I'm starting to fall in love with this thing.
Getting sexy, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, I think, my opinion, I think that the Dual Shock does a couple of things. It does add a bit of nostalgic flair to it.
Yeah.
You know, it also, I think it also takes up a little bit, like Victory, you know, with you know, you saw their swing arm and you saw their fender. Mm-hmm. And, you know, with this bike, I think it needed a shock in there to fill the fluidness throughout the lines on it.
Yeah, it follows the line of the bike. And I didn't, you know, the last thing you want to do is recreate something that already somebody else is taking heat over. No, you know, I mean, because let's face it, Harley Davidson changed their frame. They went to those monoshock systems. Some guys are in love with them. Other guys are not convinced yet that they're the right move that bike made.
Right.
We all know that the Indian motorcycle, the way the original ones were built, fantastic. I mean, you can't argue with it. But I think what you've got here is you've got that same kind of angular setup and swing arm arrangement, much like on the Scout, because the first time you look at the shocks on the Scout, you think that they're leaned down too far. Until you go ride it, you go, oh, hey, now I understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's a variety of geometries there. I think you got the same thing going on here. That's what I'm saying. I'm sticking with it. Anybody?
Oh, I agree. I mean, if you follow the line, it matches up.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Yeah. The lines are really well. And, you know, Indian did a series of video releases talking about the Chiefs before they released this one, the 100-year anniversary of the Chief or whatever. And one thing the first one said was the lines on the Chief, the performance of the Chief, were just overall 100 years ago better than everything else. I would say that that's what they were going for, lines and performance and innovation. Not that they wanted it to be the classic Chief, the vintage. It's more about pushing it again. And I think they were pushing it for the mid-size bike. I think that's what their goal was. Not exactly, hey, guys, we're bringing the Chief as in the official original Chief back. No, it's, oh, by the way, we're going with what the Chief was first done. Innovating, lines, power, and then in this case, they went mid-size with it. Sure. I think that's what they were going for with the Chief name.
Well, I also think that, there's an echo. Somebody's got an echo. But I think what's also happened is that there came a point where the original Chief, as we knew it from 13, 14 going forward with the Polaris-owned Indian motorcycle, it was built, and it's a beautiful motorcycle. Don't misunderstand me. But when you've got a Scout customer on the floor, and he throws a leg over the Scout, he tries it out. It's not quite big enough. Awesome, loves the bike, digs it. But he wants something a little larger. If you were to go put him on the Chief or a Chief Dark Horse in those days, you took an enormous jump in price, like $5,000, okay, to put a guy on a bike that was now almost 200 pounds heavier and a completely different setup, a 29-degree rake and a different styling thing and long swoopy lines. He could not get his head around that. That was not the next evolution in his understanding of how he wanted to ride his motorcycles. This walks right up to that guy and says, no shit, come get on it.
Yeah. You know? And slaps you in the face with an awesome price point.
Yeah, exactly. It says, you can ride this for 16 grand. Ready? Let's go. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been telling Curtis, and I'm gonna work on this video, and I'm gonna tease it now. But I firmly believe, for multiple reasons, and I'm not gonna talk about the reasons because you guys all have to watch my video. But I firmly believe that Indian may have just checkmated Harley with this. That's it. You have to watch. I'm just saying. Hit the bell, the subscribe, the follow.
No. You could be absolutely right, though. Because if this kind of, I said it in the reveal, I think I still believe it is, this could be a monumental moment for American motorcycling as that market share thing shifts, where it's no longer not okay to not ride the other brand. You can now walk over here and say, this is the motorcycle that I wanted to have somebody else build a while ago, but these guys are making it. I'm going to go ride it. That's going to be a game changer. It's also going to be a game changer when you can walk up to that young guy and you can show him these kind of bikes and say, now, take your pick, air, liquid, whatever you got. Want to go fast? Want to go long? We didn't have that choice before.
Right. Want to go through the woods?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, absolutely. You can do that too.
Yeah.
You're going to do that.
It's damn right I'm going to do that. That's what I'm making that FTR for. I'm making it to go trails and get some dirt. And I just got to find good hand guards for it. Indian doesn't make, they make like if it falls over, it protects the levers, but nothing to protect the hand. So I got to go complete aftermarket for that. By the way, good piece, Larry, on this week's Indian Rider Radio podcast. Your piece was great about the EOM accessories. OEM accessories. So, yeah. But anyway, if I didn't have the FTR, this bobber with the Lloyd's 126 obviously would be in my garage.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Yeah.
It's just this motorcycle has got so much going for it. I'm going to back up to one of the bobber pictures here if I can find it, and I will get back with you guys. Talk amongst yourselves. While
big shout out to Mark here, throwing super stickers at people. Appreciate it. That one will go in the virtual tip jar. How's that one?
I love having a good virtual tip jar.
So I'll ask you guys real quickly, what bike doesn't India make now? I mean, realistically, right? For the American rider, they got it covered. They got the FTR. The only thing they don't have is an adventure bike, but as Fish is doing, you could possibly turn that into an adventure bike. This bike hit that hole that they were missing. I'm thrilled with this.
I don't think you've seen the end of the FTR though, Larry. I think that's there's more branches to that tree. We just haven't seen them yet. Right.
Yeah, I think a full adventure. They need that. That comments just blew up on you, Larry. Everybody's thinking a true full adventure bike. Big Gabe thinks I'm on drugs because I'm
kind of new to this online live streaming thing. Is it common for guests to just get up and walk around the house?
Absolutely, especially when they're phones.
I just want to
know when you're an A-lister, you do whatever the hell you want to do. Lloyd, just do it.
I had to plug in.
Yeah, my producer isn't happy about this at all.
Who booked this guy?
As you say, make sure the lighting was adequate.
Well, now you don't even have lighting in your dark.
Wow.
I know, but I got charging going on. Let me see. Yeah,
I thought he was going outside and lighting a cigar or something. He was just leaving
Hey, Lloyd.
Go get in the
little secret. I got this grill light that you could clip onto your barbecue grill. I got it clipped onto my desk, man. That's my secret. That's
the one.
Yeah.
Wow. I got one of those vlogger cameras or lights right here.
Well, let's Fish. Hey, Fish, we got a minute here. We got about 15 minutes away from the top of the hour. Why don't we go ahead and grab some comments and I'm going to just pop them up here, see what we got. Find
you want me to? You do it.
I'll drive in here.
I can look too. We got a lot of people in here. Big Gabe thinks I'm crazy because I said Indian checkmate.
Okay. See now, okay. Here we go. Chad, when Indian keeps hitting the nail on the head with design, tech, performance, and form, there is now such a great range of size Indian motorcycles. Yeah, there. When you knowingly come out and know that you have some holes in what you're doing, you hustle to fill those gaps.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to play my whole hand here because, again, this is one of those points that came up in my interview with Brandon that was so critical that really spoke to me, is that the Chief, as we knew it before these came out, do you realize that is the same frame minus a little different steering rake on that bike initially, and now it was the same until recently, but that bike then it is the same fundamentally as everything else in the line. The baggers, the tourers, all that.
Yep.
It just happened to be a cruiser too for a little while.
Right.
Okay. It just happened to get stripped down to a place where, okay, yeah, we can pull it off as a cruiser, but we know full well that in some of the colors and some of the trim levels, it was a $20,000 bike, bare bones, 20 grand bike. Now, now you're paying 21 and you're getting bags, 2-up, windshield, and the Thunderstroke 111 and all the other goodies that you're a long ways away from when you walked up to the original Chief. And the original Chief, and the Chief Vintage for that matter, I think were exercises in architecture. They were made to look good because those are the things that are symbolically Indian. Were they going to be the future of the brand? Probably not. We got to get used to that, guys. I mean, there probably will always be a Valence fender somewhere, but there may never be any more tan leather. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it could be.
That's when you call Alligator Bob and ask him for some tan leather. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, Alligator Bob and all the tan leather you could use. Holy cow, that man has done some amazing work, huh?
Absolutely.
Right, what do we got here? Brad Dodd. Let's pop Brad up. I love the bike, and I've been looking to go to a lighter bike than my Chieftain Limited. Only thing, I'm not sure of the outboard shocks. Will the ride be good? Well, I don't think it's going to be bad, but there's also going to be about 1 million aftermarket options. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Scout already has aftermarket shocks available. Yeah. So I'm sure it won't take very long. They're not the same shocks, are they? Or are they the same? Does anybody know?
I don't think they went. No, I don't think they went to the parts bin for those.
Yeah.
I think those are designed for that frame.
It won't take long. I think that we now have a aftermarket community, and Lloyd actually is a good example for this for the motor stuff. But they're starting to show the world that they're interested in all in on Indian motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
They're ready to produce products for us Indian motorcycle riders to improve our bikes or make it our own or however customization.
Well, think about it this way, and Lloyd, you know this because when guys buy new bikes, if there's that long drawn out wait, like we had with Challenger, like we had with FTR to a degree, there's a little bit of that. Well, if I can't do that right now, maybe I don't buy the bike right now.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely.
Is that not true? It's exactly true.
100%. I've got close friends of mine that still will not buy a Challenger until I release cams.
There you go. See, that's
those are good friends.
I will not buy cams until you release cams.
Thank you.
Amen. But you see where I'm going with this is you can't double down on that. You have to come with something that's got a little bit more ease of operation, if you will. I mean, I can now make my purchase, and while they were doing my paperwork in the office, I can walk over to the parts counter and really upset the F&I guy because I'm going to go buy a bunch of stuff and tell him to roll it in my deal. But you can do that right now. 80 different accessories for this bike that are available today.
Right.
Come on, man.
That's a home run right there.
That's a home run. Yeah.
I just think that this bike can be really what you want it to be. So, for example, it can be a person's first bike.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, let's not 126, but it could be a person's first bike. And maybe it starts as a bobber or maybe not a bobber, but a single up or whatever. And then eventually they start trying to tour. This bike can tour. It's going to be able to go down the freeway at 80 miles an hour with no problem. The nice thing about having the accessories ready to rock is that they'll be able to just slowly change the bike to their ability. You know, they need bags, you can go get bags. And that is the dynamicness of this bike.
But here's the thing that I told people for years about Scouts on the floor. Okay. The way, if you're a newer rider, or for that matter, you know, a smaller stature rider, even the way you use your bike will change. You know, you get the motorcycle, you think you're going to run around with your buddies on the weekend, but then you find out that your buddies are going long ways or doing whatever. But the way you use your bike changes. It morphs, it grows. The Scout was a good foundation for that as far as that went. You know, it was never going to be a coast to coaster, although I know people who have done it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But this thing here, you can walk up to that motorcycle with an 1811cc motor, and as you change how you ride and what you need and what you want, you just bolt the stuff on.
Yeah, it's definitely a more adaptable motorcycle than a Scout.
Well, by far, yeah.
My question I've been asking people, and I haven't got really straight answers for it, is will people trade their Scouts in for this bike?
I think you will see some of that.
I agree. I like I said, my wife is a great example. The Scout was a little. She actually was a Scout bobber, little too. Wasn't the right bike for her.
Yeah.
But this, I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna have to. My wife's gonna get tickets. She's gonna get speeding tickets and doing wheelies and yeah. It's gonna be insane. And for about the same price, right? That's what throws me off.
Yeah.
Like for a Scout, I think a Scout bobber is what, 12 right now?
Yeah, 11,999, 12,999.
You know, 14,999 for the entry level Chief. Yeah.
Anonymous says no, he will not trade it.
Come on, Anonymous.
He has like 4 motorcycles. Anonymous is going to buy one.
Yeah. You know, your Scout and my Elite cost the same amount of money. Come on, dude. He's got a ton of dough in that bike. Oh man, but you're right, Larry. And this isn't. But we got. And again, let's go back to our naysayers and the guys that are grousing. Right, all these guys that are out there complaining because it's not what they expected it to be. Guys, let me put it to you this way: a lot of the time, if we built what you thought you wanted, companies like Polaris would be broke in 2 years, and we'd be standing there with whatever we got in our hands. Okay, they build motorcycles to sell motorcycles. And they build motorcycles they know are going to sell. When they discover ones that don't sell in their lineup, they don't build them anymore. That's economics. You know, it just is what it is, guys. And if we are saying goodbye to that heritage look for the Chief per se, it's still going to exist in the vintage.
Right.
That, boys and girls, is one kick-ass motorcycle, and it's going to appeal to a lot of people for a lot of reasons.
You mean they're not going to build an inline 4?
Hey, there's been a lot of.
It's coming. It's coming.
In the room every time that has to do that. At one dude has to bring that shit up.
I know Mr. Jeremy Green is pushing hard for the.
He's all about it.
Yeah, Indian used to have one.
He's got a cult down there in Alabama. Don't.
Lloyd. It's been coming since 2012. That's the first time I heard about the inline 4 coming.
Yep. I don't think we're going to see it.
Oh, here you heard it here first. Lloyd Greer said no.
The only inline 4 Polaris is going to build is going to be a car. Just not.
Hey, Lloyd, we have, since we're kind of on the Scout topic a little bit, in the comment sections, there's a lot of people asking if you guys at all are working on cams or big bore kits or anything like that for the Scout.
No, and you know, we did. Matter of fact, me and Josh, who works for me, we spent months working on Scout cams and grinds, and it don't work out. It's you know, unfortunately. And the other thing too is it costs a lot of money to come out with a product, especially a cam, because there's a lot of R&D time up front, which you know, you have to amortize into the cost of the product, and then you're hoping you're going to sell X amount to cover costs, and in reality, I don't believe that we would have anywhere close to the Scout sales for cams that we would need to justify what we were looking at, and we tried cams, it just didn't work to my satisfaction at all.
Like you weren't getting the performance gains that you were looking for.
No.
But you're talking about, I mean, really, once you bump the displacement up, there's really not much more you do there, is there? I mean,
you got to go in and do some head work. And that's one of the downfalls to that motor, is there's a lack of flow on that. But yeah, once you big bore them, do some work and throw some cams in them at that point, then they'll respond. Yeah. But how many of those people are gonna, you just lessen your market in that.
Yeah, we forget that this is not a big market.
Yeah, nothing like building a big bore kit, building cams, doing all this head work, and selling 25 sets.
Right, exactly. And same thing with FTR. I mean, there's a big FTR following. We just, did back-to-backs on stock to Andrews cams, and unfortunately, that was a huge disappointment.
Oh man,
absolutely. And they just, if they sell 6,000 bikes a year, it still doesn't justify how many cams you need to sell to cover those costs.
So was it a disappointment because it was a lack of performance? Like, can you be a little bit more specific of what the disappointing part of it was?
On Scout or FTR?
FTR. Because you got my interest.
Yeah.
I'm guessing not the gains, right?
I'll send you the dyno graphs. It picked up a little bit in the mid-range, and that was really it.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Darn.
Well, I think was it Revolution Performance came out with a big bore kit for
Scout.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's a young man. One of these days, if you guys really want to talk about serious performance, one of these days here shortly, let me reach back out to Brian Conley Jr. Are you guys familiar with Brian Conley? He's from the Chicagoland area, and he is a professional motorcycle drag racer. And he has one of the fastest Scouts ever built. The thing is amazing. And most of which makes the Scout so impressive you can buy over the counter. Nothing is really all that special that's on that bike, other than it all works well together. And so, one of these times I'll get him back on the show and talk more about that, specifically about the performance in that bike, because he races actually in another class now. I think he rides a Harley Davidson actually, but he still takes the Scout out and of course races the daylights out of it. But it's an amazing motorcycle, and they have really spent a lot of time, he and his dad at Valley Racing there in Chicago, working on developing that power plant. It's pretty amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get him back.
Yeah, get him back.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You can never go wrong talking performance.
Right.
Except I keep telling Curtis that I want to be in on the podcast on some of these interviews.
You fly on the wall thing, or you want to actually get in there and root around some?
I'll start with the fly in the wall with a big mouth. Every once in a while, I'll just plug in. Kind of like I started on this show, like at the beginning when we first started doing this, 10 episodes back. I didn't say much at all.
I do have to throw a plug out there for someone.
Yeah.
And, with all the conversation about Chief, of course, it would, I would have to bring up Mr. Kramer's name on this. And, I've known Brandon for quite a few years, and very, very thorough person on his product. And I wholeheartedly believe when they do their research and Brandon has the oversight on this product, it's going to be an amazing product. And, kudos to him and the team for coming out with this motorcycle too. I haven't had a chance to listen to your podcast with him yet, Curtis, but I'm looking forward to doing that tomorrow.
Well, Brandon is, as you said, he is a detail guy, and you can tell as soon as you talk to him, but he also understands it from the customer and the consumer's point of view. This isn't a guy hiding in a cubicle someplace, rubber stamping purchase orders. This is a guy who is he's absolutely engaged and involved in the development of the motorcycle, and he is really good. This show is amazing. We talked for, about almost an hour. And it's rare that I have somebody from Indian who will sit on the phone with me that long, and he was happy to do it. And we really enjoyed the conversation. Told me too that, you had forewarned him about me, so I had to go in a little careful, but I went the best I could. No, we had a wonderful conversation. Excellent guy. This is how far it went. And this is not, to brag him or anything, but we got all done talking, and he said, "Hey, look, I know you deal with the PR firm to get a hold of us. You don't have to do that. If you'd like to reach out to me personally, you can. And that's pretty high praise. And I took that as a hell of a compliment. And so you're going to enjoy the show tomorrow. It's really good.
Matter of fact, I could put his cell phone number online and everybody can talk to him.
Just put it in the comment section. I'll put it up
in the comment section. Okay.
I'm damn sure that's on your page, buddy.
That does say something, though. I mean, that's because it's a he's a real deal. He's a down to earth person, and I think all them Minnesota people are kind of down to earth. You know, Curtis, us being from New York, we probably assume that they're too nice.
Minnesotans are super nice people, and the Iowans. When I first got to Iowa, I thought, did all you people just get lazy? You just didn't want to go the rest of the way, did you? You just stopped right here. This is what you. Jesus, we don't do that in New York. We just lead follower, get the hell out of the way.
Right, exactly. With an attitude.
It really is. It really is.
So I'm from SoCal, so I don't know what that means. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
No. We were in SoCal. I know you're not from there. We were in Southern California together. I know damn well you're not from there.
I have changed and grown as a person.
Minnesotan is all get out, my friend.
Oh no. Hang on. I don't know what I am. I'm one badass guy, but I'm definitely not Minnesotan.
All right.
Did you just throw that big O in there when you said Minnesotan?
Yeah, an accident.
There you go. These guys, they'll never know the joy of a good hot dog. I'm telling you that, right?
Hey, you want it? So I went to New York, off topic, but let's talk about New York for a second. So I went to New York, I went to Atlantic City, and then went up to New York, and I ate at one of the little delis that are in the buildings underneath the apartments and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Best damn salad bar deli I've ever eaten in my whole entire life. First time I ever put goat cheese on a salad, just saying. Yeah. It's always been on my salad since.
New Yorkers have been trying to tell people for years, you're not eating the right stuff. It's no wonder y'all ain't healthy. You're not putting enough mustard on it. There's no coleslaw to save your life out here. So what are we supposed to do? Well, we still have a lot of guys in the viewing right now. We still got a lot of comments popping. If there's things that you guys really specifically want to talk about, hit us up. Otherwise,
I'll work on some questions.
Yeah, it's otherwise we got to wrap it up and get out of here because they get upset when I use up all their airtime. But I do want to hit up a couple of things while I have you two cats here. Lloyd, first with this bike, why do you think that they didn't just put one motor in it versus having both, the 11 and the 16?
Why'd they put both of them in there?
Just to have it more tiered in terms of pricing?
Yeah, I think premium, to base.
Okay, yeah.
Gives you that ability. And I mean, if you're going to, a sense, raise the bar on the price, then you should give them a little bit more performance in the.
Just so it's not all cosmetic, is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That makes sense. Yeah.
And you're not pricing people out of the market either, or out of the bike.
True.
Right.
At this point, does Indian Motorcycle make more 116s or more 111s?
Oh, with this now, it's going to be kind of an even push because that pretty much. Well, yeah, there's a lot of them now.
So I just learned that in Europe, under the new emissions law in Europe, they actually didn't put the 111 out there at all. It's only 116s. Because of that, it makes me assume that 111 will probably go away sooner.
Yeah, but I don't think Indian's likely to make that mistake because look at some of the other manufacturers that took the only one that really comes to mind at the top of my head, the Honda and the VTX motors. The 1800 VTX was really the superior motor of the two, and yet they kept the 1300. Okay, I don't see that happening here. I think that they're going to need a good core motor for a lot of purposes, and price point being one. So why not hang on to it and refine it a little?
Right, and I think personally, I don't think that platform is is close to its life expectancy yet. So what's to hold in the years coming? Also,
right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Hey, maybe Indian will come out with their own supercharged 116.
Maybe they bought it from Lloyd. See, Lloyd, that's what you need to do. Just produce the part, sell it to Indians, sit back and do shows with us all the time.
Actually,
oh, perfect. That sounds like a great idea. Maybe I'll have to talk to Mr. Kramer about that.
but what? But
hey, I get a cut now. Hey, now that I got my idea in there, I get a cut.
Right.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. But let me throw another point at you. That makes it an interesting thought. Is that there's so many of you guys now that I've spoken to in the aftermarket who are active contributors to what Indian is doing. And I think that's great because the OEM does have its limitations. It can only do what's inside its box, but it needs to know what's outside the box, and it needs to know how these things behave. Brian Clock is one. You guys, Lloyd and Tim, another.
Mhm.
And there's so many other guys out there kind of leaning over their shoulders, helping to make this work.
Aftermarket sells motorcycles.
There you go. That's the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
One drives the other. Yeah.
And Lloyd, you know this guy, Scott, down in Conquest. I can't wait to see what he does with one of these. Like that guy is a mad scientist when it comes to body work and performance. And yeah, he's going to do something crazy. I'm hoping you two work together.
I'm sure we will. Yeah.
Do something.
Yep. Scott is definitely a great artist when it comes to building a motorcycle. Yep. And this is right up his alley. It's a steel frame bike. I'm sure he's going to be jumping all over it.
If you guys don't know about Scott Keatsman out at Conquest Customs, you need to find out about him. He's a genius.
All right.
So he'll make a bike that back wheel will break loose real quick.
Ooh.
Trust me, I know.
That sounds like good, clean fun.
Indians making those bikes too.
He'll take the Indian, whatever you have.
You always got to go to the next level, right, Larry? I don't know, Lloyd, you might remember this. I had a highball that Scott worked on, and I came out to you guys because I had some gaskets. It was actually out in Sturgis, and the guys I had to do the work put the gaskets on wrong, or didn't put any gaskets on my exhaust. And you, Scott, and Tim actually looked at my bike and told me what was wrong with it. Okay, I remember that now. Yeah.
And Scott, man, you guys, what I love about you guys, you're passionate about it. It's like every bike is your own, it's your baby. And I bring that up because I see these bikes, I see these Chiefs, and I'm like, these are just going to be insane. It's 3 years from now, we're going to go, whoa, what the hell, man? You're going to see a whole segment at bike shows when they come, custom bike shows when they come back. You're going to start seeing, I predict you're going to see Chief only bike shows.
I think you're onto something because did you see what Gary Hart did on that bike though?
Oh, yes.
Did you see this? Oh man.
I meant to bring an image of that to put just in case anybody missed it. Oh wow. Yeah. It's
speaking of anybody missing something, I'm going to put the brakes on this because everybody's clamoring to talk about this, which is Ride Command and a 4-inch touchscreen. What the hell?
First of all, that just looks awesome.
Does that not look crazy cool?
It looks so cool.
Right? I mean, look. Now, imagine that. Roll it up to somebody else and going, hey, what do you got there? I got a touchscreen. But it fits the aesthetic of the bike, and how amazing to put Ride Command in a 4-inch circle. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, really.
It's crazy. Look at this thing. Oh, that's the bike. Other direction, Curtis.
That looks
learn how to run this show. But you can have a digital analog gauge, ride modes, all of that right there, and then all the other tech. You got your Bluetooth connectivity and all that other stuff built right into that little gadget. Come on, man.
Yeah, I really love it. I'm a little jealous because I'm pretty sure I haven't actually gotten my FTR in a while. It doesn't have turn-by-turn navigation, right? I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't think it does.
No?
No, I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
Now, what they really are proud of here is that they've been, again, in the conversation I had with Brandon, one, they did not want to have to use something safe like off the FTR. They were afraid that if they just took that gadget and set it there, it was going to look out of place. And I think they're right. I think it would have looked wrong, right?
Yeah, I think
But here you've got weather and traffic overlays, and you got a variety of other stuff. built right in with Ride Command in a 4-inch circle. Now, everybody who freaks out about, is it touch ready and all that, you also have controls on the handlebar, even easier to use. But then you can set it up to look familiar.
And that simple item right there tells me that they built this bike for the younger generations.
Sure.
Because we can't see that far to a 4-inch screen.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to follow this up. So,
you had to rub that in.
A buddy of mine just bought his first motorcycle. He's 22 years old, and he bought a Harley Davidson Sportster. Well, after this release, I sent him some pictures, and I'm just out of curiosity from a 23-year-old brand new rider. What do you think about this bike? He goes, man, that looks like a mean bike. Sounds good to me. There you go. 23-year-old opinion. And that's what Indian wants, I think. Just like you were saying, you're not going to be able to see the 4-inch touchscreen, but that 23-year-old will be able to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But he's also accustomed to using it. You saw me, now I've gotten pretty accustomed to the Ride Command on my bike, a 19 version. But you saw me on that 21. I was all thumbs, man. I could not find anything on that thing. So
it's surprising more people don't wreck trying to figure them out going down the road.
Oh, yeah. I should have done. Yeah, a little parking lot time might have helped, but no, I just jumped on and took off. But yeah, I mean, it was just a little different feel, and it took some getting used to. So I think this would as well, unless you're one of these young guys who are familiar with it. I don't think that'd be a problem.
Well, here we go. Does anybody know? Sorry, go ahead.
Roger's throwing a little mud at us, saying the Scrambler's had it for a couple of years now. Yeah. Okay.
So they've had turn by turn. Hey, Roger, just curious because I don't know. They've had turn by turn and weather overlay and traffic all in there. I'm just curious. So if you can comment back, I'm just curious.
He just might. Okay, so Brian here. Oh, Brian Moodry. Hi, Brian. How are you? The 4-inch touchscreen is the same way the iPod revolutionized the MP whatever player. See, the other's forgotten already. This from a guy from West Virginia. He's true, though. It's right. He's absolutely true. Is that we move on to whatever's next and we get adapted to it, and then we consider it to be what's supposed to be after that. So I don't know.
Here's this. Honestly, my biggest gripe about my Scout is no Ride Command or GPS. I mean,
there's a trade-up customer right there.
That's right.
Yeah.
I actually I think I did a spot on the show, on the podcast, where I talked about technology on a bike. And actually I think it was 2 weeks ago, I was talking about what technology sold me on my Chieftain.
Yep.
And it was the Ride Command, the GPS.
Yeah.
Like that saved my tail a number of times.
But for the reason that you pointed out is not the one people would expect, is you can just get on the damn thing, take off, go ride. And if things start not looking familiar, put in your home address and go home.
Exactly. I've done that a lot.
I know.
It makes, this is once again another bike you can just get lost on, and you just hit the button and go home. Does anybody know what the cost on the overlays are going to be once the warranty or once that free year is over?
Subscriber fees?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever, even the Challenger, I don't think they've announced it yet.
Okay. I did see somebody ask that in the comments, so I wanted to address that.
Maybe it's like your cable bill. We don't really know what we're paying for there either. Probably like your cable bill. All right. So, but do you guys agree? And I think that in the course of the conversation here, we've hit the high spots, and that is that they've relied on some stuff that is tried and true, and that is now been proven in the marketplace to be good, i.e. the Thunderstroke 111. They've gone back to some original styling cues that were genuinely Indian product. They've added, some styling cues that look like some other things we're familiar with. Why? Because you've asked for them. Mm-hmm. And now they're building a motorcycle that's going to pick, again, 6 different versions and 80 accessories. I mean, holy cow. Does anybody know, has an American motorcycle manufacturer ever done that before?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I'd have to say no.
Yeah. I don't think even any of the metric bikes or anything like that has done that. Where you stood tall and said, we have one format, we're going to bring it all out at once. Bang.
Yeah.
Because how easy would it have been for them to string this out for a while?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. One here, one there, one here, one there, one there. We could have a new model every 6 months if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But instead, they brought out the Chief. There it is.
Well, I know I can't wait to ride this thing. I'm excited. I'm really excited. This is, yeah.
You better let your wife ride it first.
We'll see if I get her to ride it. She'll buy it, and then I just ride it all the time anyway.
There you go.
Okay.
So go on a
I'll wind up paying for it either way. So
go on a rainy day, Larry, and be like, "You ride it," and then go, "I will ride it home, though, honey."
Right.
right.
Yeah. Where did we live again?
Yeah, rain. We're talking about August.
Yeah. Why did it take you 3 days to get home? It's gas stops.
Yeah, Jesus.
I wish this had GPS. It does.
It does. Damn it. You guys are getting me in trouble. Well, I fellas, I think this is going to wrap it up. I mean, we got a lot of people hanging out, but we're really now kind of beating a dead horse. We have come across a motorcycle that I think is going to change the industry, at least in terms of market share and really who is the preferred provider. I think in a lot of ways, I think that Indian has finally been able to tap into that new old school rider, the neo retro guy that they call him now. And, I think once you got him and you've got him established and he's an owner on a bike that he can customize over the parts counter in the dealership tomorrow if he wants to, I think you own him. I think he's yours.
Let's go get him.
Okay, we'll do that. All right, Larry, you returned this week on the podcast, and as always, great work. We love having you, man. Please, anybody, if you haven't already, visit the vtwinblog.com. Check out Larry's work there. It is the news magazine like none other. vtwinblog.com, and he joins us on Indian Rider Radio. Larry, have a great weekend, man.
You guys too. Take it easy.
All right,
see you later, Larry.
Lloyd, how's Tim? Is he feeling better? He was a little under the weather, I'm told.
He's back to normal.
All right. He was a little puny.
Yep.
Okay, well.
Test came back negative. He's ready to roll.
That a boy. That's what I was afraid of.
Yep.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Well, you guys have been super helpful for us. Indian Rider Radio is now powered by Lloyd's Garage and Indian Motorcycle Charlotte. Thanks for your help and support. Thanks for dropping in tonight. And I think I'm going to get a chance to rub elbows with you in Daytona. So I'm really excited about it.
Oh, awesome. Good. And you coming to our VIP party?
Well, I don't know. I'm barely ranking that, but I sure will try to get to the one in Sturgis.
Well, I'll have Amanda print you a badge anyway.
Perfect. Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Fish?
I'm going to be there the second weekend, so I'm going to miss the VIP party, but I would love one of those just to wear, just to tell people.
Just to look at, yeah.
No problem.
No problem. I'm still wearing my VIP badge.
Yeah, I'll be.
And also, too, I mean, you guys do a phenomenal job, and we're honored and really lucky to be a part of your show. Well, and you just spread the word. And Curtis, I don't know how you do it. You've got a knack for this for sure. So you do an awesome job.
Well, thank you very much. It's much appreciated. Lloyd Greer, everybody, Lloyd's Garage and Indian Motorcycle Charlotte. We'll see him Daytona. And by the way, while you're still right here, I know this to be fact. There will be Indian Chiefs on the demo truck in Daytona.
Awesome.
All right. So now we can all go play around on them and we can all talk about it some more. Lloyd, have a good night. Thanks for joining us, man.
You too, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for the last minute.
Oh, dude. Well, what do you think?
Well, I think that I was really busy at the beginning of the show. And we have some awesome people that were hanging out here.
Okay.
And I was having a hard time keeping up with all the comments and trying to get Lloyd in last second. So I think we had a great show today. And I thank all these guys, everybody watching, guys, girls. Do us a favor, hit subscribe, hit follow, gives us some thumbs up. And if you haven't checked out IndianRiderRadio.com, go do it.
Well, let me update you on that. IndianRiderRadio.com. You're going to find information there about me and about the show, about after hours. We're going to talk a lot on the show coming up, obviously, about the Chiefs. So there's a page on the Indian Chief, one on the FDR, and you can learn about the Full Ride Scholarship Program that is sponsored by Brave Wolf Customs, Jason Dement, and the Lilith Challenger, and see if we can't help new riders get some money to do their continuing rider skills education. We'd like to do that. So if you'd like to know more about the Full Ride Scholarship, visit it there. And my big last plug is this. Tomorrow, in fact, when I'm done here with this show, I'm going to jump into the other studio and whittle down the other program so that it's ready to upload And so tomorrow you will have a special edition of Indian Rider Radio with Brandon Kramer. He is the project director for the Indian Chief and Indian Motorcycle. We've got it all, so don't miss it.
I'm not going to miss it. I told you to send me the preview.
Yeah, it's for radio. Well, Mark, I've been told that since I started my career, so don't even start with me.
It's very true. I have a face for truck driving, so.
Yeah. Well, you've done a little windshield time, haven't you?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Great show, man.
Well, I did. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Great show as well. And thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Ridingfish, you've got it. Your video is ready to go or it's already out?
Oh no. I'm working on it.
Okay. All right.
It's a little work on that one.
Okay. I'm just double checking because
I did get a video out. I don't know if we talked about it or not already about the most boring ride I've ever done through Kansas.
Oh, yes. Yes. I enjoyed that immensely. That was a great video.
I think the video was more exciting than the road.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's probably true.
Kansas was tough. Kansas was tough. And if you run a toll because you don't feel like stopping,
yeah,
they send you a bill for like a 25% increase if you had just stopped. So you know.
Okay, well,
worth every penny.
Just gonna keep moving through Kansas. Thanks so much. This has been fun.
I'll pay the fee.
All right. Well, guys, it's time to let you go. I appreciate so many of you hanging with us throughout the evening tonight. Thanks so much for spending time with us. IndianRiderRadio.com for more information on the show. Find the podcast anywhere you find your favorite podcasts. Season 2, Episode 6, available right now. That is with Rod Woodruff from the Buffalo Chip. And tomorrow, All In on the Indian Chief with Brandon Kramer. Ridingfish, have a great night, my friend, and we'll talk again soon, okay?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, man. Thank you again, everybody. And if you like what you hear with Indian Rider Radio or Indian Rider Radio After Hours, please do us a favor and become a member for exclusive content, behind-the-scenes stuff, and as much of that as I can possibly produce when I can produce it. So by all means, if you'd like to become a member and join the show and support us, we'd love to have you along. Visit the website or check us out at patreon.com/Indian Rider Radio. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with all you guys tonight. We've had a lot of fun talking about this bike, and we're going to do it again soon. So take care. Have a good night. Be safe and be legendary. And until next time, we'll see you on the road.